Williams here, and I'm ready for part 2 to help you writers out. So put down your pens and your papers, close them laptops, because we're going to be diving into some more stuff to help you guys out in your writing. So take a break right now from writing the full script for the never-ending story, which always ends for some reason, and check out what I got for you. Here you go, number 1. Number 1 is a very simple thing, and for some reason it always works. If you want to change it up, give somebody a substance abuse problem. It worked for House, and look how long that show's been on the air. Might as well give that one a try. Plus, it allows you to go to places that you wouldn't normally be able to go to. Because if worst comes to worst, your main character can always hallucinate up in his head some crazy story. That way you've got some place to go. And then you don't know what exactly happened until you get on to the next part. Which then you can just make up all sorts of crazy things. So substance abuse, for some reason it works. Number 2 is to use a montage. Sometimes you write yourself into a spot and you hit a brick wall because really you want to be way further down the line and you can't really get there. So what do? You do a montage. Make it out like Rocky, you know what I'm saying? Because in like every freaking Rocky film, there's always like this scene where he's like working out and like lifting weights and stuff. Nobody wants to see that. So what do? They put it into like a 5-minute montage, and then all of a sudden you're at the fight. And that's what everybody wants to see anyway. They want to see Rocky beat the crap out of somebody, or in some cases he gets the crap beat out of him, whatever, you know. But use a montage. It'll just speed things up to take it right where you want it to be. Number 3. Okay, so this next one is for everybody who writes horror films, okay? Real quick, easy tip. You need to put your story sometime before 1984. That's the latest that you can have your story. Because, let's face it, a lot of the great horror films have got their roots way back somewhere in the 70s or to 1984. For example, Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses. They take place in 77. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And then you've got like Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the latest. It's at 1984. Friday the 13th, 1980. So as you can see, if you want to write a good horror film, its roots better be somewhere in the 70s to the mid 80s. 84 is the absolute latest. If you're going to put it past that, then you might as well just be writing Scream. And those are a dime a dozen. But the thing about it is that slashes are all over the place. So if you really wanted to make it interesting, things that take place in the 70s are just naturally, for some reason, scarier, and you gotta be sure to throw in some kind of like Allman Brothers soundtrack with it on top of that to boot. So, there you go, try that one. Unless you're doing a musical, and then you might as well just put it in the 50s and make out like Grease Lightning. And number 4 is probably one of the best tips that you could ever use. Here's the deal. You're writing a story, you get to a point, and then all of a sudden you realize, uh-oh, I forgot something way back at the beginning of the story. What are you going to do about it? Simple. You use a flashback. Then you don't have to do any explanations, because then it's just magically this little part that says, oh, wait a minute, I do know what's going on because I had this frickin' flashback. So if you use a flashback, you can correct any and all mistakes that you've ever made in there. Now, if you want to do it even better, you can put the flashback with the montage, and you can explain even more crazy stuff. So combine those two, and you're like out scot-free. So here we go with number 5. Alright, so for this one, I'm going to recommend that you put some kind of comic relief in it. Because if you want it to be heavy so much, you got to bring it down and make it funny at some points, okay? And the thing is that you can't have it stupid comic relief, you know, like Jar Jar Binks. Forget that. That's just a freaking idiot. Nobody really wants to see that. If I want to watch somebody do something stupid, I'd rather watch them do it on purpose, and I'd rather watch like Johnny Knoxville or Steve-O, you know what I'm saying? So, here's the deal. I'm going to say that you need to write him closer to like a Chris Tucker character. You know, like in Rush Hour or The Fifth Element. That's the whole reason he was even in those films, I guarantee it. Because he's not really good for much anything else. By the way, he put on a lot of weight for that third Rush Hour film. What was that about? I don't know. Maybe that was part of his comic relief. So let's move on to number 6. Alright, so this next one is very easy and it's used a lot. Check it out. You make yourself out like the Matrix, and reality as you know it isn't really reality at all. Now sometimes there's these TV series where they like do this, and like you watch the whole series and then at the very end you find out that, oh no, nothing really happened because it was all just some dream in some guy's head, and they tell you that like in the last like 2 minutes of the whole thing. Don't do that. That just freaking pisses people off. Just don't do it. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it like the Matrix. That way you know kind of upfront what's going on at some point, and then you can do all sorts of cool like slow-mo effects and all that. That seems to work a lot better, and people will actually continue to follow along if you're honest with them up front. Next step. Alright, so this last one is very easy. Check this out. You're getting writer's block, right? You're totally stuck and you don't know where to take things. Easy. Here's what you do. You're going to add some horror creatures into the story to mix it up a notch. What you're going to do is you're going to add like vampires, werewolves, or zombies. Zombies are the best. Everybody does zombies. If you play any video game nowadays, zombies probably going to show up at some point. Or you know what? Even like do this, like Marvel, they have zombies in there, and you know what they did to kick it up a notch from there? They put Bruce Campbell into the series, walking around killing zombies, and it was excellent. So you know what? If you need to kick it up a notch, put like zombies into the film. Or maybe vampires, they seem to be popular, you know. They're all sparkly and stuff and kind of stupid, but hey, people seem to like it for some reason. So I hope those tips work for you for your writer's block. So check them out. Hopefully you do better, and I'll catch you next time. Keep it classy.